Hello, you guys. How are you all? Thank you guys for being here. Sorry, we're a few minutes late, but we are here. So, originally, okay, yesterday I was going to do this stream yesterday evening, and we were super busy trying to get our license for our cars and all this stuff, my mom and I. So, I canceled the stream. Well, then I had created a live for this morning, another coffee and crime that was going to be about some Richard Allen updates, Brian Cobert, just all kinds of several big cases that had updates, but also some unknown ones. And then I got to thinking I should do the Stephan Stearns information because, hold on one second. Oh, sorry. I should do the Stephan Stearns information because I want to do a panel kind of talking about it and discussing it with other creators. And I would like to get it out there and talk about it with you guys. I was going through this stuff yesterday in the DMV and we have to talk about it. All right. So let me say hello to you guys and we'll get started. Hey, Pointer Lover. Hey, Tess. Hey, Trinity. Loving the morning lives, Allie. Can you guys hear me okay? I'm an early to bed, early to rise gal, so this is awesome. Well, I'm glad that you do. You know, I used to do the morning lives. Last year at Christmas, I did like a coffee and crime series. And then also other times, like when the Idaho case specifically was breaking, we did a lot of 9 a.m. streams. I don't know. It's just what works best for me. You know, I'm glad that you say that because I had gotten some things said to me yesterday regarding this. And, why did I decide to change the time of my lives and other people are on at this time? Honestly, I don't know anybody who's on at 8 a.m. And I do know a few channels who stream like a little bit later in the morning, but they don't even really do true crime. So I don't know. I make decisions based on what's best for me and my family when it comes to my channel. This is what's working for me. I'm not even a morning person, but when the kids go back to school, it just makes sense. I'm not thinking about any other people or channels that, I don't even really frequent. When I'm thinking about, it's hard enough to go around my friends, and we try to do that and try to be respectful, but don't take it personally because it's not personal. And if you do take it personally, that's on you. That's your own like self-importance, grandiose. I don't know what it is, but that's on you. It's not on me. We're going to do what works for us here. So it is what it is. Hey, Sarah Bellum. Hey, Adrian. Hey, Nadie. Hey, Girls Nana. Yay, I'm so glad. I thought that it would be cool to do like super early where people are still getting their kids off to school and stuff like that. Actually, the only person that I know that streams this early would be Betty. And, I don't have any problems going on the same time as her. Hey, Christina. Ain't that the truth, Trinity? Hey, Morbid Sunshine. Hey, Rando. Hey, Tony. You keep on being awesome. Oh, Tony, I love you guys back. You guys are the bomb. Hey, Tess. Hey, Meg. Anybody I missed? Because I was starting to say hello, and then Trinity's comment got me kind of thrown off. Jennifer, early riser here too. You guys, not me. I am not a morning person. Like I struggle. Even today, I was really struggling getting my stuff together to get on here. But we have a lot to do today. It's really the only time that's going to work for me anyways. Bentley gets his cast off in a few hours. He gets a littler one on and all that stuff. So I'm curious about Stephan's traumatic brain injury and his defense. I didn't realize his skull was run over twice. Well, I think that might be used in his defense. Hey, Nature Rocks. Hey, Jordan. Rexy. Thank you guys for being here. Anybody that I missed? Hey, Roro. I've got a coffee right here, a Monster one. Oh, hippie chick, I love that. Elena, I'm not a morning person either. Okay, so exactly, Jen. It's crowded at night and it's hard to find a time and still be considerate. And I'm really, my biggest concern is trying to be considerate of Jen, Melissa, Amber, Deets, a couple of my friends, but you can't, you can't go around every channel ever that's ever streaming. That's just not going to work. Okay. Hey, Alicia. I love them. I love being with you guys. Oh, thank you, Queen Bella. Hey, Florida Bass. But I don't know if I love how early, but I will say, like, I was thinking about this. You guys are starting to like turn me around on the mornings a little bit, and I'm enjoying them so much better, so much more than I usually do. um, so, okay, let me go ahead and start because there's a lot that I want to go through, a lot of documents. There has been a lot released. And so there's this one section of this supplemental report. So basically, it's a bunch of different officers giving their takes on their part in the investigation. So one of the supplemental reports is like 50 pages, and every other page is a different officer, and they're kind of given what they did on the case, what their involvement was when they walked away. Some of them, their involvement is very minor. It's like, I was called to check this. I checked it and that was it. And I was gone. Like, check tires and see if it was the right tire. Some is very minor. Some is very detailed. So there were some really interesting things in some of these that I wanted to point out to you guys, starting with here. Let me see. The 2400 report. Also, there's been a ton of photos released. Now, I want to just go to one photo before we get into this report. Actually, we'll start with this. This photo is kind of going around. Tess and I had talked about it privately as well. And, people were curious if this was Madeline. We don't know who wrote the notes that are in the photos that are being shown. I personally don't believe it is, just based on the words. If it is, it's sad. If it's not, it's sad anyways. I'm going to read it to you. You'll see what I mean. But let me know what you guys think. I like watching Mo and Allie. Their voices relax me, and the anger of all the other mean people goes away. Oh, thank you, Music City Mom. I know, like, I get a lot of comments of people who don't like my voice. So when somebody does, I always appreciate it. Mayla's mom says, I don't think it's Maddie, Rose, and Night Owl. Let me see. Alex, remember, you can please some of the people all of the time, but all of the people some of the time, but you cannot please all of the people all the time. That is so true, Anonymous. Look, I just want to hang out with you guys and talk about true crime. You know what I mean? I'm not here for really anything else. And I don't mean to like I said, I'm not personally trying to offend anybody, and it is what it is. That's all I can do. This feels mid-morning to me. Hey, we gobshite. You're even starting to sound like a morning person. Awesome, Florida Bass. You're making your morning rush hour drive better. Okay. Hey, Selena. Good to see you. All right. So, again, I don't think this is Maddie, but let me just read it to you. It says, first, we have a part that's marked out that says, my illnesses and conditions limit my ability to work by affecting my memory. Now, this is one of the biggest reasons I don't think this was Maddie, because she doesn't work. I mean, schoolwork, I suppose you could say maybe that's about that, but I don't think so. Just me personally, but we don't know. So then it says, my fluctuating moods, anxiety, and trauma-related symptoms affect my memory, concentration, focus, and energy levels. I also have severe trauma responses when I encounter all males. Now, like I said, I do not believe this is Maddie, but at the end of the day, I still think it's important because, remember, we hear Stephan's dad, and I don't know if you guys have been here, when we've been talking about this through the last few days, but Stephan's parents did some interviews, and they said, Stephan's dad said that Jen called her as soon as she found out what was going on between Maddie and Stephan. And she said, number one, get Stephan a lawyer now. Okay, but then she also was making comments like, me and Stephan have no sex life. We don't have sex. I'm on all these medications and my mental health, and he's sexually frustrated, basically offering up excuses. In my opinion, that's the way that I took it. So it is still interesting that we see here, I have severe trauma responses when I encounter all males. So if this is Jen, I'm so sorry for whatever she has experienced in her life that would cause this. But look at it happening to Matt. Like, it was happening to Maddie right under her nose. So if she had experienced something like that in her life, it just gives me, like, I have questions. Why did you allow this to happen to Maddie? Like, I don't know. And you guys know I have tried so hard to really be respectful to Jen and give her some grace and think maybe she didn't know. I know there are so many people who never tell their parents. There are so many people that hold on to these secrets. They feel ashamed and dirty and just like they're wrong. I know all too well how that feels as a young person. And I don't know. Let me see what you guys think. I have a feeling she was responsible, but she was stupid to me. Hate her stupidity cost her. Jordan says Jen needs locked up. A lot of people feel that way. Look, even Duty Ron, because there are some law enforcement officers with channels. You might not take what they say to heart, but with Duty Ron, I tend to take what he says to heart. And, he's even said that, hey, KFC, good morning. I've been catching replays. I just woke up making coffee, but wanted to say hello to you and chat while I listen. Hope your birthday was good. Thank you, KFC. It was freaking awesome. We went to the beach, and I appreciate that. Thank you. And good morning. Thank you for being here. Boho Hobo, because she's a narcissist, too caught up in herself to even think about her child. My problem with her is she allowed Maddie to sleep with Stephan. That is irresponsible. Ooh, Roro, I will drop a link right now for Nay's Melts. I have a code that will give you a discount. It should be in the link. And that's just something Nay does for us. She loses money to give us these codes, and we don't earn from it. I just love to tell you guys about them because they're so damn good, and I love Nay, but she does a great job. So use that code, use it up, and you'll get 20% off. It's right there in the link. Okay. Her medication was too important to her in her sleep. To me, it looks like an adult wrote these. Wait, let's see. Halo effect. Perhaps, well, I think it was Jen, perhaps the mother or the roommate. I do believe it was Jen because there was another note with similar writing that, actually, I might have it just right here, that seemed to be after. So I do have it, but it has a phone number on it. Let me see if I can zoom out. And a name from someone at the sheriff's office. But if you look here, at the top, it's photo at National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. So I think, and then there's a sheriff's office number at the bottom with somebody's name. So I think that it would be Jen's, but I guess it could be a roommate. It could be really anybody, Okay, so now we're going to talk about Frank. This is so interesting because this is where YouTube comes in. Remember, when the case was first breaking and we had a friends of Stephan Stern's going on YouTube channels, Gray Hughes was mentioned in one of these interviews multiple times, but it's kind of mentioned here. Hey, Bernie. My daughter just turned 12 and is suddenly getting looked at by grown-ass men, and it's disgusting. Oh, my God. I don't know how you moms do it. I would probably lose it on many people. I think G said that someone pointed out that was wording that one would use for applying for disability. Interesting. Okay. Grizzly. You think Grizzly said. Interesting. That makes sense. It does make sense. Hey, Dana. Good morning. Good morning, Lil Red. Hey, Stephanie. Good morning, you guys coming in. Okay. Well, Jordan, I'm glad you said that because I was thinking about saying this, and then we're going to start reading these, and they're so interesting, but also some of them are really tough to read because we're going to get to the point where, well, you'll see when we get there. But let me just say before I get too far down that. Jordan says, I only have a son, but I can't imagine letting a man sleep with my son who isn't his biological dad. I completely understand that. And here's the thing. When we have little boys, we tend to think they are safer from these predators, from these monsters. But the truth is they're not. When we do the true crime news, or like in the Coffee and Crime series, we're going to be talking about lots of different things, and lots of unknown cases. And when we've done that in the past and kind of just went through stories as they're kind of hitting the news or their local news and they're just breaking, there are so many that really you don't see ever make it to mainstream media often. But there are so many women who are messing with little boys, young little boys, grown women. It's crazy. It's really scary. The other day we just talked about a teacher that was messing with 11-year-old boy and texting him, and it just, oh God, it's disgusting. So B Crumbs, there you are. There you are. Jen set Madeline up to be fed to a wolf, Alicia says. I definitely see, like, I agree. Hey, Yo knows Modesto. Now, I'm not saying that I don't know if she knowingly did it. I truly don't know. I go back and forth, but I don't think it matters at that point. Yeah, a lot of teachers. Yeah. You'd be surprised how much it happens to boys. They just won't talk about it. Yeah, you're right, Sarah. And it's not only women messing with boys either. Excellent point. And I shouldn't have even said it that way because it's not gender specific either way, whether the victim or the perpetrator. All right. Take a drink and clear my throat before I start reading because it's a lot of reading. So this is going to start on March 6th. They're going to talk to this particular cop in this report. So like I said, he's showing all of his work on the case. So this is his interview with Frank. Next, it's going to be interview with Stephan's parents. We're going to read through that too. And they both happened on the 6th. On March 6th, 2024, at approximately 09:06 hours, Detective Smallwood and I responded to a certain address in Port Charlotte, Florida. We contacted Frank Peralta, who had previously called me and said he wanted to speak about Stephan. Frank was placed under oath and stated the following. Frank stated he found out about Madeline's death about 3 to 4 days prior to this conversation. Frank stated he saw an article on Google that mentioned her death and he watched some YouTube videos. Frank stated the people making YouTube videos described Stephan in a way different than he knew him. Frank said he met Stephan about 3 years ago because they played the same game called Warhammer. Frank said he thought some of the interviews were weird because Stephan and Jennifer referred to themselves as boyfriend and girlfriend. Frank knew they weren't in a relationship anymore, so he thought it was odd. I asked Frank if he talked about Jennifer when he hung out with him recently, and he said he talked more about Madeline than Jennifer because they created such a strong bond. Frank thought it was strange because Stephan didn't work. However, he had the money to purchase items for the multiple games he played. Frank said he knew that Stephan would take Adderall because he would be awake all night and would sleep during the day. Frank didn't know if Stephan took any type of sleeping medication. I asked Frank if he had any conversations with Stephan about his sex life. Frank stated no. However, they would be out and an adult female would be interested in Stephan, and Stephan showed zero interest. Frank stated Stephan told him he was going to go to Kissimmee the weekend of the 17th of February, but he didn't go. Frank stated Stephan was talking about Madeline when he said he was going to Kissimmee that weekend. Frank said Stephan was talking about he and Jennifer ending their relationship, and Madeline's name came up during that conversation. He was more upset about the bond he created with Madeline than having a relationship with Jennifer. There were no conversations between Stephan and Jennifer mentioning him going to Kissimmee that weekend. Frank stated he didn't know much about the sleeping arrangements when Stephan was living in Kissimmee. So Frank, this guy Stephan knows through playing games, calls police and he's like, hold up. The things I'm hearing about Stephan are not, they just don't line up with who he is, but I'll say this. He had no interest in other adult women. He didn't care about breaking up with Jen. The only thing he seemed to care about was Madeline. And he talked a lot more about Madeline than he did Jen. It's painting a picture, right? It's really interesting. Hey, Ramblin' Rome. Hey, sexy wild thing, McLovin' freaking baby face claws. I was thinking about you yesterday with, we were talking about Leilani, and I hope you're doing well. These folks live among us, never relax. That's so true, Mrs. Bendover. He has an obsession with Maddie. Absolutely, he does. No interest in women at all is a sign. KFC, I'm not typing that name. Y'all are funny. I think when Stephan's head was hit by a car, he became stuck in some age group that is not adult. However, his sexual desires are weird. Stephan is not attention deficit. He just likes speed and downers. Yep, I agree. And we're going to talk about what they found at the house in a minute, going through these papers. Okay. What in the world is that sound? Is that those locust things? Oh my God. That's freaking creepy. Okay. So now we're on to the interview with Stephan's parents. So also on March 6th, they go to Northport to speak with Chris Stearns and Deborah Stearns, who are the parents of Stephan. Chris stated he was expecting to speak with us at some point during this investigation. I told them I was trying to get an understanding of Stephan and Jennifer's relationship. They stated Stephan and Jennifer were together approximately 7 years. Deborah stated they didn't approve of them being together because of drug use. Chris stated it was drug use as well as Jennifer was taking medication for depression and anxiety, and he didn't think Jennifer was going to be a good influence for Stephan. They explained that both Stephan and Jennifer would sleep all the time, and it wasn't a positive thing for the relationship. When both Stephan and Jennifer would suffer a mental illness episode, they would bring the other person down with them, and it wasn't a good dynamic. Chris stated Stephan was diagnosed with sleep apnea, and he would be up all night and then sleep all day. I asked what Stephan would do when he was in town staying with them, and he said he would lock himself in the bedroom and only come out to eat dinner. Chris stated he brought Stephan back to Northport from Kissimmee because he was tired of supporting him living with Jennifer. Chris stated Stephan was sharing a room with Jennifer, but when they split up, Stephan began living in his own room at the location, so Chris would pay Stephan's rent of $600 a month. His dad still paying his bills. I'm sorry, but gross. Oh, awesome, Claus. Thank you. I cannot believe it's coming so close. I'm glad, but it feels like it took forever, and then also like it's came fast. I don't know. All right, let me continue. I'm sorry, you guys. They stated he went to Kissimmee 3 different times, including this most recent time. Once being during Thanksgiving, and the other was Christmas. Deborah stated in the last year or so, Madeline began showing signs of being bipolar. I asked if she witnessed Jennifer and Madeline butting heads as previously mentioned, and she said no. Deborah said she would only hear them arguing over the phone. Deborah stated she didn't think Madeline was a very social person and she didn't have many friends. This was odd because Madeline had several friends at her current school. So the picture that was being painted of Madeline to his parents by him, Jennifer, who knows, was obviously, not true, at least by what police have discovered during their investigation. Let's see. I asked when Madeline, Jennifer, and Stephan were visiting Northport if any of them took any medication to fall asleep, and Deborah said no. Deborah said Stephan was prescribed an anti-anxiety medication and ADHD medication, but neither one of them knew that Stephan or Jennifer's knew what, I think it's a typo, knew what Stephan or Jennifer's medical routines were. Right here. I asked if Stephan would drive the silver Lincoln to Kissimmee when he visited Jennifer. Chris said he would drive Chris's Lincoln because he didn't trust Stephan's vehicle. I asked why Stephan went to Kissimmee this most recent time, and Chris said it was for Madeline's birthday. Now remember, the other day we listened to an interview with one of Madeline's friends who said, I've been thinking about this yesterday, and this is just so disturbing to me, because the friend said that Madeline and Stephan would talk all the time. Now, we hear that in an audio interview with Stephan with this female officer, where she asked him, why do you FaceTime so much? Why do you FaceTime so late? Is that normal? But Madeline's friend comes forward and says they talk all the time. They will sit on the phone for hours and hours. One time they called Madeline and she said, hey, do you want me to call you back, or do you want me to add you in on this call with her and Stephan? So they got added in, and all they were doing was just hanging out, doing homework on FaceTime. It's weird. It's weird. And, oh God, in one of the documents we're going to read through here in a minute, it details more of some of the things that, it just details more of their relationship, and it's freaking sick. It's so infuriating. I can feel the blood pressure raising now. Okay, so Chris said something was odd with Stephan, and he was very upset. Madeline called Stephan. Okay, wait. Deborah stated Madeline called Stephan on the 24th of February to make sure he was coming. Chris said something was odd with Stephan, and he was very upset. Stephan was anxiously looking for anxiety medication from Chris and Deborah before Madeline goes missing. This is before, but was unsuccessful. Chris said Stephan looked very stressed out on Saturday evening. Chris said he felt that Stephan was more stressed out over something rather than upset at something, but had no idea what was stressing him out. I asked, when did they hear about what happened with Madeline's disappearance? And Chris said he spoke with Stephan when he arrived in Kissimmee on the 25th. Chris said he tried to get a hold of Stephan several times on Monday morning, but didn't get an answer. That's the morning where all of this takes place with the flat tire and Madeline going missing. Stephan called Chris at 17 hours, and Stephan's voice seemed a little off to Chris. Now, we hear some of this in the audio interview. During that conversation, Stephan tells Chris he got a flat tire somewhere on Highway 192. Stephan tells Chris that he changed the tire but got injured during the process due to pinching his finger between the jack and the vehicle. Stephan then calls Chris back at 16:54 hours, and Stephan tells Chris that there has been an occurrence and he was on his way to Madeline's grandmother's house. Chris thought that was a strange use of words. Stephan then tells Chris the story of him dropping Madeline off near the school. Now remember, Stephan's dad was like, this is not right. Something is not right. For Madeline to go missing and this flat tire situation to both happen the same day, what are the odds? It gave him red flags, and he used to be in law enforcement. So I would be curious kind of what exactly was going through his mind and what his emotions were going through all of this. Kind of starting to see the signs that your son is a monster like you could have never imagined. like you could have never imagined. And then once you do find out what kind of monster he is, his girlfriend, whose child happens to be the victim of this monster, is telling you, get him a lawyer. You need to get him a lawyer now. Um, and we weren't having sex anymore. I was on this new medication and he was really sexually frustrated. No. No. Okay. This is when the residents, so it goes on, and we listen to a lot of this, so I don't necessarily need to read every part of this. Stephan told Chris he accidentally reset his phone when doing an update. Chris thought it was bullshit and said there was no way to accidentally do that. I asked Chris why he went to Kissimmee, and he said Stephan told him they were getting kicked out of their home and had to stay in a hotel. This is when the residence was secured for a search warrant. Okay. And this is just the interview we listened to, so I'm not going to go into that any further. But this is interesting here. I do want to read this. So this is the roommate who's known Jennifer for years and lives with Jennifer and Maddie. There's a lot I want to get through this morning, so I don't want to go through things we've already been through too much. You know what I mean? So, okay. So on March 7th, this same officer, because remember, this is his report, and he's kind of just giving his entire experience in the investigation day by day. We just heard about what happened on March 6th. Now he's on to March 7th. He says, I contacted Natalie Rosero, who is a roommate that lived at 4012 Santa Maria Drive. She provided the following in a sworn statement. She's known Jennifer for years because she was friends with Jennifer's sister. She moved in the beginning of 2022. She stated Stephan was already living at the residence, but she didn't communicate with him outside of saying hello and goodbye. And we have already listened and talked about many things in these, but it's different in the report. So that's why I want to go through it. Okay. Sorry, I'm scatterbrained. Natalie would spend most of her time in her own bedroom with her son. Jennifer confided in Natalie that Stephan wasn't maintaining a job to help provide for the household. That is when Stephan moved upstairs away from Jennifer and eventually moving out of the residence and back to his mother and father's residence. Natalie stated her work schedule and morning routine are consistent because it had to be for her son. She makes it a point to be out of the house by 7:45 because she has to drop off her son before work. Natalie stated Madeline is normally waking up as she is leaving for the day, and she would sometimes see her. I asked if she ever seen Madeline getting ready for school. She said Madeline would typically get ready for school in Jennifer's bedroom. I asked Natalie if she's ever seen Maddie be alone with Stephan, and she could only remember one time where they were in his room playing video games. Natalie texted Jennifer asking if she was good with Maddie being alone with Stephan in a room, and Jennifer replied saying, thank you. I asked if Jennifer takes medications, and she said she took medication to help sleep and her ADHD. Okay. In the middle of the night, someone tried breaking in, and it was very hard to wake Jennifer up. Natalie stated during the evening of February 26, Natalie told Jennifer that she would help pass out flyers on the 27th or do whatever she needed to do to find Maddie. That is when Stephan looks at Natalie and asks her, are you okay? Natalie became annoyed and told him no. Natalie was bothered with this question from Stephan and thought the question was odd. She described Jennifer as being in pieces, meaning very upset about Madeline's disappearance, and Stephan was acting like he was concerned. I asked Natalie if she has ever known Madeline to want to go to school early, and she said no. Natalie stated she did not think Jennifer had anything to do with Madeline's death and became very emotional, saying they loved their kids. So this is, I find this really interesting. Then we have Angelica and a follow-up interview with her. So they want to confirm the timeline they had previously spoken about. So Angelica states she gets home from work on the 25th of February around 11 o'clock, maybe 11:30 p.m. I asked if she'd seen anyone. This is the other roommate. When she got home, and she said no, but could hear people upstairs. I asked her if Jennifer's door was open, and she described it as being cracked open slightly. Angelica stated she went to sleep around 2:30, is which is when, another typo. So Angelica goes to bed at 2:30 a.m. This is when she hears noises coming from Stephan's room. Remember, one of the roommates hears something going on in the middle of the night in Stephan's room. She described the noises as someone was putting stuff on a table, which in order for her to hear noises, it would have to be significant. Based upon the noise would have to travel through 2 closed doors and across a hallway. Angelica stated if Jennifer is awake, the television would be on or a light would be on in her room, which when she got home, neither was on, which led Angelica to believe Jennifer was sleeping. Remember, Jennifer got to sleep in peace and quiet. She sent Maddie away to go be with the monster so she could get good rest because she had a new job. She needed to rest, you know. Maddie, she don't need to rest. She just got to go to school all week. I mean, yeah, send her wherever, but let mom rest. I'm sorry, that just pisses me off so much, you guys. Angelica said she did see the light on in Stephan's bedroom when she got home. She said she woke up at 9:30 the next morning and went downstairs to make breakfast, and she saw Stephan. Angelica said Stephan was going in and out of the house and up and down the stairs. The next time she saw Stephan was at 1:30 to 2 p.m., and Stephan was washing clothes. I asked Angelica about the sleeping arrangements, and she said it was odd because he never washed clothes. But I asked her about the sleeping arrangements, and she said all 3 of them would sleep together. They made a small space for Madeline to sleep in the living room, but she didn't like it, so she would sleep with Jennifer. I asked if she ever witnessed Stephan and Madeline go into Stephan's room by herself, and she said yes. Jennifer would be at the house when this occurred. Angelica had a conversation with Jennifer about Stephan and Maddie going in the same room together, and Jennifer would tell her that Stephan would never harm Madeline, so she was okay with it happening. Angelica stated she had another conversation with Jennifer about her sexual interactions or lack thereof with Stephan. Angelica said they didn't have sexual relations often, and that is why she didn't want to be with him any longer. When Stephan was told he had to move out of the house, Angelica stated he was not happy. Madeline did not appear to be upset with Stephan moving out of the house. I asked Angelica what Madeline's routine would be when she woke up. Angelica said Madeline would go to her portion of the living room and get dressed. She would eat breakfast, and Jennifer would let her sleep a little while longer before they left for school. Angelica had never seen Stephan take her to school. I asked Angelica how Jennifer was acting from what happened. She said Jennifer was bad, and she couldn't believe this was happening. I got to hear what you guys think. Yeah, off work the next day. So did she work the night before? I know it was at Disney, and I had seen that somewhere, but hey, Mindy. Hey, you guys coming in. You talk a lot. Let's hear the news. We're reading court documents, bro. Like, what do you mean? We are reading through the court documents. I am not talking. I am reading exactly what police have put in these documents. Well, I mean, I am talking some. Hey, good morning, Vanessa. Spicy Alley in the house. Y'all, I'm definitely on one today. Jen didn't ever, Mom. She's not capable, sadly. Something is very off. Hey, Kimberly. Good morning. Hey, Trulia. Oh, I love you guys back. All right. Let's see, because I don't know there's so much I want to show you guys, and I don't remember exactly. Okay, so over the next couple weeks, I reviewed the cellular phone data that was extracted from Stephan, Jennifer, and Madeline's phones. Madeline's phone revealed the following. On December 16th at 12:47 a.m., Madeline sends a text message to Stephan that contained a photograph of 2 coins. Then it's all redacted. Then something about, oh, this is from the health application in the iPhone. So on Madeline's phone, we know she took 9 steps at 10:09 p.m., 31 steps and 1 floor climbed, which matched the time Jennifer sent Madeline and Stephan upstairs to sleep. So Maddie went upstairs with Stephan. You can see the movement in her phone at 11:19. It's so sad to see that like typed out in like this. I don't like it. It sucks. It's so sad. Okay. Upon reviewing Stephan's cellular download, the following was observed. On February 26th at 12:12, so this is at noon, a factory reset was done on the phone. This can only be accomplished by navigating to the settings option in the phone. Basically, it cannot be done accidentally. On Stephan's cellular phone was over 1,000 images in I think Madeline and his photographs. Most of these are graphic in nature because the name is redacted. These images will be described upon reviewing Stephan's Google information. He also searched for this. Remember, we talked about this yesterday. Stephan was searching for this drug that we had just talked about. This anesthesiologist had gotten in trouble for putting this drug on a washcloth, holding it over his nanny's mouth, knocking her out. Nanny had put a camera in the house, so she busted him. And he was using this drug to take advantage of her while she slept. Stephan is searching about this same drug, and he's doing it on 2 different dates, February 12th and February 14th. So whether he intended for all of this to happen or not, he was certainly thinking about doing some really creepy and horrible shit. Trying to learn about drugs that you can give someone to knock them out. Clinical uses include inhalation induction of general anesthesia in neonatal and pediatric patients secondary to IVs. Upon reviewing Jennifer's phone, the following was observed. She would set an alarm for 7:30 on days she brought Maddie to school. So on February 25th at 11:39 p.m., Jennifer texts Stephan, make sure she goes to bed right now. Stephan replies, okay, sweetie, good night. Oh my God almighty. Jennifer replies, good night. Stephan texts Jennifer, she's built her nest and she's settling in now. Jennifer replies, okay, good. Oh my God almighty. You guys. These messages confirm what Jennifer stated during interviews, that Stephan and Madeline were alone in his room prior to her death the following morning. Now, this is the graphic part. This is going to be tough to hear, but it was enlightening to me as I was reading through this. I felt so. I'll show you guys some of it. It's nerve-wracking to read about and talk about because it's so awful. And is there any way to preserve the little bit of dignity that, to give Maddie some respect and that she deserves, that she wasn't given? So these are only the videos and images of high interest. Let me be clear. He had over 1,000 photos of Madeline, in his phone, most of them sexual in nature. I think he had, what was it, 3,500 photos of other children, of other in not good positions, and that were also sexual in nature. Listen to this. This just pissed me off so bad. And this, okay, so we knew that there were pictures of Maddie asleep and things like that. But listen to this shit. This is a video file depicting a prepubescent female resembling redacted Maddie, okay? She is laying next to Stephan in a bed watching cartoons on the television. Stephan is asking her to put his penis in her mouth for 3 seconds as he counts. Stephan tells her she will not be able to play with a phone unless she does it. Hey, Ginger. So he was literally telling her she couldn't use electronics and stuff like that unless she did what he said. Hey, MK. He is the most disgusting thing in this world. I know, it's complete bullshit. I cannot believe reading through this stuff. Stephan states she would not be able to play with a phone unless she did it. You disgusting pig. You are a disgusting pig. Then there's an image depicting someone who is redacted, and it's all kinds of, I'm not going to go through all of this. It's just very disgusting sexual stuff, and it does describe it. It also describes the mark that's on his member down there, you know. But the one that I really wanted to mention to you guys, plus we've seen the others, they're on the indict. Like, if you see the charges, most of that has already been put out a long time ago. The only thing that I hadn't seen was he's literally threatening her that she can't use electronics and shit if she doesn't do that stuff. He's such a disgusting pig. No, Jiggy, this is him and Matt. No, apparently, now we don't know about that. I don't know, but that's not what it was, which I'll go back and show you again. It's redacted, and it shows Stephan is on the couch with a prepubescent female who's watching cartoons. Stephan is telling this child to put his privates in her mouth for 3 seconds as he counts to 3, and tells her if she doesn't do it, she's not going to be allowed to use the phone. That's... Oh, Rita, thank you. Thank you, Rita. That's super sweet, and I appreciate that. Jen needs to be charged, Alana says. This poor baby alone and having to deal with this disgusting man. Scooter says you need a license for first and foremost, but it's not a drug that can be picked up at a pharmacy. It's a liquid that is turned into a gas through a machine. Interesting. Thank you, Scooter, for the info. So the only thing that I had seen about it was, like I said, that anesthesiologist who was using it on their nanny. Okay. Now there's a bunch more I want to show you guys, so let's keep going. Excuse me. There's more people that they're talking to, some of Madeline's friends. They don't have any information about the case. Madeline's best friend. This was kind of interesting. So, okay. On March 13th, a detective and I went to Orlando to make contact with this young lady who was Madeline's best friend. The young lady was placed under oath, and we explained She was previously interviewed by Orange County sheriffs. I had to clarify a couple of items she had previously discussed. I asked her who was at Maddie's party other than her family. She stated another girl from their school, but didn't know their name. I don't want to put their names out, so I'm going to try to... Actually, let me try to do something else just while we read through this part. Oh, excuse me, I had to clear my throat, so I had to mute for a second. But I don't want to put these kids' names out. But all right, so this was kind of interesting. So this young lady, we'll call her S. S said there was another girl at the school, or at the party from their school, and her name was E. She didn't know E's last name. I asked S how Madeline was acting at her party, and she said when she got there, she was kind of acting upset. But when E got there, she changed her demeanor and began to be happy. I advised S that she had previously mentioned her and Maddie may have been on the same menstrual cycle, meaning they got their period at or near the same time monthly. She clarified that Madeline got her period in January, but she didn't know if she got it in February or not. She then explained that Madeline was upset because some of her friends canceled going to her party the day before. She assumed Maddie was also upset because her mom was not at the party. When she woke up, she would always have a text from Maddie, but not on the 26th. Okay. Now, listen to this. On April the 10th, we're going to go back to this report. I had to, this is really interesting, and I know that many of you guys will find this really interesting. So on April the 10th at 2:53 p.m., Stephan calls his dad from the jail. At 12 minutes into this call, he tells his dad, you know that I would never have wanted that for her, meaning Madeline. Stephan then says, quote, I am not sure really that any one person is specifically responsible. It's probably a combination of factors that led to it. I've never felt anything like that before. It was horrible. Wait. Chris tells, yeah, that's all a quote from Stephan. I'm not sure any one person is specifically responsible. It's a combination of factors, and I've never felt anything like that before. It was horrible. And then Chris tells Stephan that he hopes the truth will come out, and Stephan responds, well, yeah, as if dodging the statement. The call was downloaded and submitted into evidence. Then on April 18th, Jennifer and her attorney arrived at the Kissimmee Police Department. I can't wait to hear these interviews. After everything happened, after she knew, and Stephan's been in jail for a while, what she had to say. I want to audibly hear them. But let's see what we can grab out of this. So Jennifer was placed under oath. Will asked Jennifer if she was working on that night, and she swore to tell the truth. She said yes, she was working at Disney, got home at approximately 11:30 p.m. She said when she got home, Stephan and Madeline were the only people downstairs. Jennifer could not remember what Stephan or Maddie were wearing when she got home from work. Will asked Jennifer if she remembered if Maddie was wearing a green sweatshirt when she got home from work and stated no. Okay, I just want to point something out. Why did it take this long for her to meet with police to talk about this stuff? This is in April, and she's with an attorney. So I have to think that maybe it was mental health. Maybe she was in the hospital. I mean, we've heard lots of rumors. I don't know. Those are just rumors. But her showing up with the attorney and stuff, it is kind of interesting. She sure did, Deborah. She said that their sexual relationship was not evil, but the murder was. She did. I don't know. Maybe that's just her trying to accept what's happened. I'm not sure. Riley says if he was getting child images off the dark web, he definitely could have tried to order the drug he was researching on there. That's a good point. That is a good point. Hey, Sling, good to see you. Good morning, Draven, Mo. Okay. Jennifer stated Madeline would have been wearing whatever clothes she would be sleeping with. Jennifer could not remember what time Stephan got to the residence. Jennifer stated she was in her bedroom with Stephan and Madeline approximately 30 minutes before she sent them upstairs to go to bed. Will asked Jennifer why Stephan wasn't invited to the party, and she said because her mom doesn't get along with Stephan. Wonder why. Jennifer stated she instructed Madeline to take her nighttime medication when she got home, which Jennifer states she allows Madeline to do time to time. She said Madeline takes hydroxyzine and Miralax. Jennifer said Madeline had been staying with her mother and she hadn't been taking it consistently. They ask if Madeline sets her clothes out the night before, and she says no. Jennifer states she does not have any further communication with Stephan or Madeline after the last text from Stephan stating Madeline has built her nest. The next time Jennifer sees Stephan is when he is trying to put the leash on their dog in the morning time of the 26th of February. She states she does not use her phone or get up during the night because she was sleeping. Must be nice. How many moms in the chat have ever slept from like 11 to 9 straight without being woken up one time? Must be nice. Must be nice, Jen. Would have been really nice if you would have like had Maddie in the situation where she could sleep and rest, but you know, it's so frustrating to me that you could, as a parent, like prioritize your own rest and sleep above your child. Like right now, for instance, my youngest, he's having a really hard time. Like he's going to bed at 9 o'clock and he's still so tired in the mornings and he can hardly get up. And then in the evenings, he's so grumpy and whiny. And I'm like trying to figure out, like, do I need to put him to bed at 8:30 or 8? Like, I don't know. And my number one concern is that baby has enough rest and he feels good to where he can learn at school and have a good day and be happy, and not all, when you're tired, you don't feel good and you're emotional, and makes all of those kind of uncomfortable feelings heightened a little bit when we're exhausted. I'm not concerned about me getting rest. I'm concerned about him getting rest. Like, okay. If he had moved out, I was room number 4. Well, Maddie, the room numbers confuse me, but she had the half of a bedroom down in the living room, and then he had the room upstairs, which they call the guest bedroom. But maybe Maddie could have had that room, I don't know, but okay. Will asked Jennifer if Madeline would have come into her room to tell her goodbye when she left for school. You guys remember the interview Jen did where she says the last time she saw her was that morning. She kind of includes herself in the taking Madeline to school. When Jen's asked, would Madeline come and tell you goodbye before she left for school? Jennifer stated she would have hoped she would have. She would have hoped she would have. So you're so conked out you don't know. Like, ugh. Jennifer said she is woken up by her alarm clock that was set for 9 a.m. She said the first time she talked to Stephan was at 10 a.m. Will asked Jennifer why she asked Stephan to help her with Madeline while she was training at work. Jennifer said if Maddie stays with her mother, she doesn't get to see her as much. Okay. We are going to, this is, okay, wait a minute. I was wrong. And I thought about this before the live started because I was thinking Stephan had been caught with not only like 1,500 pictures of Madeline, most of them in sexual in nature, but he was also caught with, and look at this shit, 35,000 images of child pornography on his hard drive. 35,000. The hard drive had not been used since 2020. It did not appear that Maddie was in any of these images, but regardless, back in 2020, 4 years ago, he was looking at pictures of little kids. Like, I'm sorry, what a sick freak. It's I cannot stand him. Okay, now let's see. We're gonna switch gears, and I want to take you over to here. There were certain things I want to show you. This is another group of reports that has been released. Okay, the traffic cameras. So, on February 28th, which I believe this is the day that he was arrested. Now, they didn't know that, there's a press conference that day. Police had made plans for Stephan and Jennifer to be brought to that press conference. Then they had already found these pictures and they were making plans to arrest him, getting warrants and stuff like that. They found all these pictures on his phone. Not going to describe them. They are horrific. During this time, it was discovered Stephan didn't drop Madeline off at school. They gathered information. They have so many traffic cameras, license plate readers. I want to go through some of that and show you guys. Let me flip over. Actually, I wasn't even showing you. But first, let me catch up with you in the chat. Hey, Melissa Jade. Everyone failed Madeline. Every sign was there. Well, some of you guys, probably missed the other day. We went through some interviews with her teachers and her counselor. Her teacher said she was hardly in class. When she was there, she would sleep. She had only turned in 1 or 2 assignments all year. She was making D's and F's. She was, the counselor or one of the teacher ones said she always looked sad. She was always sad. And she was, having trouble putting her feelings into words. So they told her, write it down. So then she writes down tons of scribbles and the word why, or, crying. And yeah, every sign was there, but nobody was freaking paying attention. Stephan was paying pretty close attention. Hell, he was hanging out with her and her friends on FaceTime calls all the time, for hours at a time. Scooter says, I have been following cases for a very long time, and this case has got to be one of the worst. I agree. It is awful. It is absolutely awful. Dude had no job. Yeah. I hope they bring out the little pouting perv piece of shit in full view for all of his hearings so the public can look at him in disdain for the demon he is. Well, Tammy, you know what? That's already not happening, because remember, at his first couple appearances, he wouldn't even show up. He's too much of a freaking coward. His attorney shows up for him. Hey, One Who Sees, thank you for being a member for 13 months. Orlando has very advanced LE cameras of all types all over the place. Kimberly, it's crazy because I never realized how advanced some of these are. And the last few times I've been to Virginia Beach, I've apparently went on a road that was a toll road that I wasn't, like, I when I think of a toll road, I think, you drive through, you give them your money, they give you whatever back or nothing. They just lift the gate and you keep on going. This is a toll road. You don't even know it's a toll road. You don't even know you owe money till you get it in the mail that they've spotted your license plate on this road. It's crazy. Technology, yeah. He's already waived his right to be at hearings. We have another Adam Montgomery. Absolutely. If you do the crime, your ass should be required to sit for the hearings. No outs. Hey, Jonesin. Okay, so in this, Jen said she told Maddie to take her medicine, but in another interview, supposedly Stephan gave her nighttime meds. Ooh, interesting. Yeah. See, that's why I like going over stuff like this with you guys, because some people notice things other people don't. I don't always pick up on stuff like the first time I read it. It takes me a little bit. Mernon, nay. He is a baby. He thinks he needs everyone to take care of him. All right, let me show you guys this. So they spot the plate readers and the traffic cameras, find out he doesn't drop them at school, and he's on Old Hickory Tree Road. The police go down Old Hickory Tree Road to canvass the area for possible spots where he may have dumped Madeline's body. We searched several different places. However, the results were negative. It wasn't until someone after this press conference called in. Remember, they had seen him and where in the flat tire situation. So on February 28th, the person that's writing this report and the captain or corporal responded to Orange County, and I don't know. I don't know anything about ranks like that, so I don't even know if I said that right. If I didn't, I apologize. We responded to Orange County Sheriff's Office so I could be briefed on their investigation. Due to this investigation being worked by the two different agencies, it was decided to have the command center be housed at the Orange County Sheriff's Office. Deputies had already arranged for Stephan and Jennifer to be transported there for a press conference. I was shown the contents of Stephan's Google Drive, where one folder that appeared dedicated to Madeline, it's redacted, contained over 1,700 files. A majority of these photographs and videos showed blank in different sexual positions. Based upon these images, Orange County detectives began to author an arrest warrant for Stephan due to the fact that most of these images appeared to have occurred at blank location. Probable cause was provided to the detective, and they wrote the arrest warrant charging him with sexual battery and possession of child pornography. I was also provided information from license plate readers, surveillance videos, and traffic cams. So here's the timeline. I wanted to go through this with you guys. I found this really interesting too. So on February 26th at 7:30 a.m., this is way earlier than she's supposed to be at school or leaving for school. She should be getting ready now. Her school starts kind of late compared to the schools where I'm at. So at 7:30, Stephan is seen driving his vehicle to the dumpster. Stephan is wearing a red shirt and tan pants, which, remember, in that police interview, he lies and says he's wearing blue, and he hadn't showered since all of this. Obviously a lie. He exits the vehicle and throws away 2 large white trash bags. In the passenger seat of the vehicle, there is a white female wearing a green sweatshirt with her head slumped over to the left. This is freaking sad. The positioning of the female does not appear to be normal, and she does not move while Stephan is exiting or entering the vehicle. The female appears to be Madeline. So whatever happened before 7:30 a.m. On February, I think hers starts at 9, you guys, if I'm not mistaken, but there's been so much information being released. I could have that wrong. Somebody correct me. I know that Lil Red and B Crumbs and Tess, I've also been really digging into all the documents and stuff. So on February 26, 2024 at 8:10, 40 minutes later, Stephan is driving south on John Young Parkway, approaching Thacker Avenue. Madeline is still in the front passenger seat in the same position. I wonder if he ever even dreamt of all the cameras that would be catching this, because they got every step of the way. And this trial is going to be horrific because they will show this stuff. They will have to show the timeline of events and how things, all of the evidence, and Maddie got from point A to point B to point C, and you know what I mean, the way that happened. But every step of the way has been caught on camera. Listen to this, except for what actually happened to her. That wasn't caught on camera, but a lot of it was. So 40 minutes later, he's seen on this certain parkway. Maddie's still up front. Okay. Then about 9 minutes after that, at 8:19, he enters the apartment complex again, exits the rear of the complex at 8:31. Madeline is still in the front passenger seat in the same position. So he's just driving around with her like that in the front freaking seat at this point. Welcome to the new millennium. Ain't that the truth? It's pretty crazy how, cameras and stuff everywhere. So then at 9:01 a.m., Stephan is driving north on International Drive in Central Florida Parkway. Madeline is still in the front passenger seat in the same position. This confirms Stephan did not drop Madeline off at or near school as he previously stated. So like I said, I can't believe the traffic cameras can see in detail like this. It's pretty crazy. It's a good thing though for these kind of freaks, because it helped him not get away with this. But so February 26, 9:35, Stephan is driving into the parking garage of 9271 South John Young Parkway. He drives up to the second level and parks near the northeast corner of the lot. Stephan backs his vehicle into a parking space by the stairs. Stephan exits his vehicle and walks towards the rear of his vehicle and opens the trunk. At 9:41, he is seen placing Madeline, who is wearing a green sweatshirt and blue pants, in the trunk of the vehicle. He then exits the parking garage. He was on camera putting her in the damn trunk. Thank God. Yeah, thankfully, you're right, Black Eagle. The awesome uppity asshole. Some of your guys' names, man. Thank God for little things like that help us get through some of this awful stuff. It's okay. So then at 10:14, he's seen entering the apartment complex again, and Madeline is no longer in the front seat. At 10:54, he is driving to the dumpster and throwing away more stuff. At 11:22, he drives to the vape store that he talks so much about, and he makes a purchase. He then travels east on Highway 192 towards St. Cloud. His vehicle is captured on several traffic cameras as well as license plate readers. I'm going to make a graphic. So I'm planning like a panel where to discuss a lot of the stuff that's came out with Bindi and Amber, and I'm thinking about asking Melissa, because I know she's been following along, not covering it, but I don't know if she's still here, but planning a panel to discuss all of that. And before that happens, I'll make some graphics that show this part of the timeline, because it's important. Hey, Shabane, good to see you. Oh, Tammy, thank you so much for the super chat. He is a coward. Thanks for your content. I appreciate that so much, Tammy. Thank you. And he damn sure is. He's a coward. We have, it reminds me of Chris Watts. You know what I mean? Adam Montgomery. These men that do this awful shit. They're, big and bad in the moment up against little children. But when it comes to all of society seeing them for who they are, not so damn tough anymore. Not so damn tough. Okay. So he's captured on Highway 192 on several traffic cameras and license plate readers. And then at 1:16, he's driving south on Old Hickory Tree Road. He passes the elementary at 1:17. And then at 2:11, he's driving west on Highway 192 from Old Hickory Tree Road. His vehicle now has a spare tire. So it seems like between 1:16, when he's first on Old Hickory, and 2:11 is when he disposes of Madeline's body and has the flat tire. I'm assuming the way it's working out in my brain is maybe while he's disposing of her or something, he drives over a stick or something that flattens his tire, but I could be wrong. I don't know. Maybe he gets a flat tire and that's why he disposes of her there, because he's afraid police will show up. I don't know. I suppose it could go either way. But we know that between 1:16 and 2:11, this takes place. Then he comes back to the apartments, and at 3 p.m., he is again throwing more shit away in the dumpster. Now, this is really interesting. So we talked about this, and actually, I think I got a picture of it. One of the dogs hit on the back tire of Jennifer's car. Did I take a picture of it? Well, here's why. So, I suppose it could have anyways. She's probably ridden in the car many times, but I don't know if this was a dog that was trained to smell decomposition. But on February 27th at 3 in the morning, Jennifer's vehicle is seen driving east on Highway 192 through Kissimmee to St. Cloud. The vehicle takes the same exact path as Stephan. At 3:35 a.m., her vehicle is driving south on Old Hickory Tree Road from 192 and seen again turning west on 192 at 4:09 a.m. So he goes back to the scene that night at 3 a.m. in Jen's car. In the interview, Jen claims she didn't know he was even driving her car until the next morning when she gets in it and shit's out of place. Jones, and I don't think we will even be going to trial, in my opinion. Oh, I'm glad you said that, because I was wondering this. How will he, it appears that it's moving towards a trial. He hasn't taken a plea, but how can he even fight some of this evidence? I would be really surprised. I guess the only way, maybe a mental health defense, which if he wants to use something like that, his dad mentioned a traumatic brain injury, he would have to take it to trial. Maybe that's why, and he will. If that's the case, then I don't know. What do you guys think? The vehicle then returns to the apartment at 4:30. A more detailed timeline is included with another detective's report. While the arrest warrant was being written and obtained at approximately 16:45, I contacted Jennifer in a conference room. Jennifer was asked questions about Madeline being missing and the dynamics of the household. Jennifer stated her and Stephan had been dating on and off for about 7 years. He had moved out of the home in the later part of 2023. She stated while they were together, they would either all sleep in the same bed or Maddie would sleep with her when Stephan was not there. When asked if it was normal that Stephan and Maddie sleep together, she said yes. Jennifer stated if she needed a good night's sleep due to her anxiety, she would put them to sleep in a different bedroom. She stated she was woke up the next morning by Stephan attempting to put a leash on their dog. Stephan told Jennifer, go back to bed, because he would take care of walking the dog, so she went back to bed. Jennifer stated Madeline must have got dressed for school in her room because her phone was left on the nightstand. Jennifer said Stephan said he was impressed on how quickly they were able to get out of the house. Oh my God, he is so disgusting. He was impressed with how quick they were able to get out of the house to go to school. Stephan told Jennifer Madeline was asleep most of the ride to school. That will cover your ass, won't it? You think so, but no, it won't. But that must have been what he was trying to do, right? If there was a traffic cam or something that caught them, say she was sleeping. Jennifer stated she ended the relationship because he was a messy person. Jennifer said they didn't have a sexual relationship because her medications affected her sex drive. So I bet she did say that to his dad as well. If we see her saying it here and Stephan's dad claims she said that to him, chances are she said it. I asked Jennifer who drives her vehicle, and she said only her and Stephan. Jennifer said Stephan took her vehicle Monday night because he decided to go drive around searching for Maddie. This would have been when he traveled back to St. Cloud in the early morning hours. Orange County detectives had previously shown Jennifer photographs of Stephan's penis for identification purposes. Jennifer did not want to believe Maddie and Stephan were engaged in sexual activity. Jennifer asked to see the image of Stephan. I pulled out a printed picture from Stephan's Google Drive that showed blank with his member and blank mouth. She said she didn't recognize anything in the picture, as if she was in denial. However, she became visibly upset. Shortly after these questions, I excused myself and told her I was going to speak with Stephan. So then he goes to talk to Stephan, reads him his Miranda warnings, and starts to ask questions. Okay, Stephan stated Madeline always needed human contact when going to sleep. We read through part of this report the other day. He refers to it as snuggling. He claims he came back to the house because he forgot a gate clicker. Let's see. And remember, he is asked if Madeline had ever had any kind of, I asked if Madeline has ever been sexually active. He says there was an incident when she was younger. She did something with the phone or camera, but wasn't scolded for it. And if you came in late, make sure you rewind and you see exactly, because I've seen this, and I've even questioned it myself with hearing the way her friends were talking about them having these long FaceTimes all the time. Did Maddie think this was her boyfriend or something? She wouldn't be at fault there. She can't consent. She's a baby. She's a child, right? So she wouldn't be at fault. But I don't think that's the case, because after we discovered this one particular video where he's telling her if she doesn't do what he says, she can't play with the phone, she was being threatened to do what he wanted. And when I asked, I asked Stephan if he provided Orange County deputies consent to search through his phone, and he said yes. I asked him if he had a Google account, and he said he did. When I asked him if he saved pictures to that account, he said sometimes. Stephan stated he did have pictures of him and Madeline saved to that account. When I asked Stephan about all the pictures he saved, he then asked if he should be talking to a lawyer. Shortly after that, he requested an attorney. He was arrested for sexual battery. The warrant was obtained to collect DNA from him, and then he was transported to the jail. So I think that we might wrap it up here, and let me see if there's anything else right here. I know there were other things I wanted to go through, but I have to go take Bentley to get a new cast today. Oh, yes, the medicine. Okay, so before we go, let me show you. Oh, God, listen to this. On February 29th at 5:09, we contacted Jen. I advised Jen our crime scene technicians were there to collect additional items that were seen in Stephan's photographs. Jennifer confirmed on the morning of 2:26 she was woken up as Stephan putting the leash on their dog. Jennifer got up and Stephan told her not to worry about it and go back to sleep. Jennifer stated she wanted to believe she saw Madeline. Here's why she lied. She stated she wanted to believe she saw Madeline, but she actually did not see her. Jennifer said Madeline picked out clothes to wear on the evening of 2:25. I asked Jennifer to explain her and Stephan's sex life, which she described as vanilla. Stephan would want to have anal with Jennifer, but she didn't want to. We later spoke about what medication Maddie was taking, and she said she was taking Adderall and hydroxyzine, which is a sleeping and anxiety medication, and Miralax. Listen to this. I asked Jennifer what is her morning routine with Madeline. She said she makes sure Madeline has her school items ready while making her breakfast and lunch. She makes sure she takes her medications before school, and then she would take her to school. Jennifer said her entire life was dedicated to Madeline. When I asked Jennifer about the sleeping arrangements, she said Maddie would sleep with her most of the time, and when Stephan was there, they would all sleep in the same bed. Jennifer said when her and Stephan broke up, she could only think of a few times that Maddie slept with him in a separate room. Jennifer stated she didn't feel comfortable with Madeline sleeping with Stephan, and it didn't look right to her. I asked Jen when she did start feeling comfortable with it, and she said she was never comfortable with it. I challenged Jennifer about telling them to go sleep together on 225, and she said it was a selfish move because she wanted a good night's sleep. Okay, so we're going to wrap it up there. There is a ton more to go through. They did find Adderall in the house and stuff like that. But like I said, I need to go take Bentley to an appointment. Oh, I forgot. There was also an ex-husband of Jen's. So I'm going to leave that report actually exactly where it's at. And maybe before this panel that we do, we will have one more video going through the new evidence that's been released, the rest of the report, and some of the photos. And then I plan on having like a group discussion about it. But I wanted to hang out with you guys and chat for a second before I go. So we're going to wrap it up there. But let's see. Likes, please. If you enjoyed, Roro, have a good day. I hope you get some good rest. If you enjoyed hanging out with me this morning and I helped you get through getting ready for school or whatever. See, that was my idea. Like when I was thinking about doing this, before when I did the coffee and crime, we did it at like 9, coffee and crime at Christmas time. There's a few videos up from that. But this time I was thinking, what if we did it earlier? And it would like help people get through sending their kids off to school and stuff like that, getting ready for work. So that was kind of my idea. But hey, jewelry nurse. Lil Red says, so he did that to Maddie instead. Now as a mom, if you do your child's laundry, you would see aftermath of those escapades. Would there be? I mean, I don't know. Bye, Black Eagle. Hope you have a great day. Well, I'm going to hang out with you guys for a minute and smoke a cigarette, and then I'm going to let you go. But yeah, if you enjoyed it, please don't forget to leave a like because it does help the channel. I always forget to say that. B Crumbs is reminding me. She's always reminding me about that, and I appreciate it. So yeah, if you enjoyed being here, I know it was tough stuff to listen to. It's hard to even, I don't know. It's hard. It's just hard learning the details of this situation. Deborah says it wasn't a selfish move. It was planned, in my opinion. Jen knew what was happening and may have participated or at least covered it up. Well, remember, in our first report we went through today, Stephan tells his dad on a phone call that not one person is responsible for this. Which, is that just him making excuses? I mean, I don't know. You guys, it's going to be freaking hot today. Oh my God, there's a heat wave coming through here or something. Is that happening where you guys are too? Anonymous says Maddie probably had to do her own laundry. That's a good point. I mean, Jen does appear to put her rest and relaxation above other things. Listen at me using one of those giant candle lighters because my ass always loses a lighter. Difficult stuff to hear, but thanks for doing. Oh, thank you, Trinity, and thank you for being here. I don't know. it's tough to talk about, but I think it is important. I think it's important to talk about it honestly with the truth of what's in the reports. Could it prevent something in the future? Could it help us understand? To me personally, I think anybody who has this like attraction to kids, I don't think they should be in society. I don't think there's rehabilitation for those people. And we know that one tower that they found 35,000 child pornography images on of Stephan's hadn't been touched since 2020. So he has been into this stuff for a long time. If it could have been caught sooner and he would have been locked up, Maddie could still be here. And I don't know. I don't know the answer to all these things. Oh, thank you, B Crumbs. I appreciate that. Kimberly says, my bonus son comes home today for a visit for the first time since he moved to LA 6 months ago. Oh, my wife is so excited. Oh, I hope you guys have the best day. I bet you she is excited. I would be too. Thank you, Crumb Story Diva. 95 in NC today. Yeah. Adrian, really? Interesting. Hey, Yonos Modesto. Thank you. Jen is no parent. Nope, don't care. Oh, I love you back, Trinity. Thank you for everything. Slink says it's already hot here in Hamilton, Ontario, and even hotter by my machine. It's already getting hot here too. And I've got to drive like pretty far today, but wow, pointer lover, freaking hot. So yeah, maybe we'll do one more live finishing these documents and going through a couple more. There are a few more audio interviews that I've thought about playing too with this. And then we will have a discussion on it. Our coffee and crime is going to continue again tomorrow at 8 a.m. Most days it might only be an hour. But if we're going through stuff like this, it's going to be 2 hours. Thank you guys for being here. And yeah, come hang out on the other days too. Because look, another goal I have with this little series is I really want to take a long look at things that are happening out there that aren't getting talked about. Like I want to spend a lot of time talking about cases that we just don't hear about, which we have been in the last few episodes. Today, we just did all this to try to get a chunk of this stuff out of the way. So I don't think I can come back on later, but I really want to focus on a lot of these missing kids and missing adults and victims of these crimes that don't get talked about. So I haven't, Tess. I've wanted to, but I haven't. Oh my God, Stephanie. Oh, Angela, I'm glad you're here. Thank you for coming here. Yeah, come back sometime. Thank you, Deborah. Thank you, guys. All right, so I guess I'm going to go and get my ish together. Jen says, I'm waiting for the trial because then all the documents will make sense. If they have a trial, it might be all we get is the documents like the Watts case, because how's he going to fight this? Unless he has a mental health defense, I don't see how you can fight this. There's so much evidence. All the documents make a lot of sense. If you read straight through them, they make a lot of sense already. But I don't see how you could fight it because there is so much black and white evidence of what exactly happened. They have descriptions of many different videos and photos that they've taken. You can clearly see, and when you're reading through what's in these videos, and I don't know how he can fight that unless with a mental health defense. There's really no other way. How do you fight a crime and take it to trial if you're on video committing the crime? I'm really curious about that. Oh, Alicia, I love that. I want to go to California sometime. Oh, one who sees, I'm glad you were here. I hope you have a great day, Mo. I'm going to wait and see what you guys say about how, if he takes this to trial, and then I'm really going to end it. I can say, oh, okay. I could say goodbye forever and ever. I mean, why the mother isn't charged. Yeah. Now that definitely don't make sense. I don't know. They did do an amazing job on this investigation. They truly did. The first Wisconsin. Hey, Steph. Lots of people take it to trial when there's clear evidence of guilt. But when there's video, when you are on camera committing the crime, like you're going to say, I didn't do this. Like, I know you see me there doing it, but that's not what you see. You know, like, I don't know, man. That's crazy. I've seen many trials with clear evidence of guilt. I mean, look at, didn't Wade Wilson confess? But when you're on video camera, I feel like it's a whole different thing. I think, like I said, the only real defense could be mental health, which we've already seen them setting up for that a little bit. So don't be surprised if it happens. We've heard about this traumatic brain injury. Yeah. Well, Jen or Lil Red, there's only so long, you know, if depending on what her charge would be, that she could be charged. So Wade Wilson confessed multiple times. Also, they have him on camera with a body. They have to prove he took her life. Yeah, but this is like, he's okay. So Stephan Stearns, you know, one of his trials, and I don't know if they're going to put them together, but at first they weren't, is just specifically about the sex crimes. And he's on camera doing all of those. Now, is he on camera taking her life? No. So that is a little different, but yeah. Kimberly, that's exactly what I think he's going to do, just based on what he's been saying. All right, you guys, I'm definitely going to end it now. I will keep going forever and ever. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. It is tough to go through. Yeah, and I hope you guys have a great day. Bernie says, look, I have a TBI and I'm not a pedo. Just because you have a TBI, that is no excuse. I agree, Bernie. I completely 100% agree, and I'm sorry to hear that. All right, you have a great day too, Slink. I hope all you guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.